Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here we have another great article from Fierce Wireless. I will leave it in the description so you guys could check it out. So, is T-Mobile set to dominate? And I know that's the $1 million question everybody has on their mind, right? If you look at the stock, if you look at how it's performing like 9 times above its value, and how analysts and the media talk about T-Mobile, you would think that no doubt in anyone's mind, T-Mobile will eventually dominate the wireless industry and be the number one player. And according to recently T-Mobile's Mike Sievert updates on the 5-year business plan at UBS, that Fierce Wireless very much so highlighted greatly in this article, so I highly encourage you guys to check it out. You would also think that T-Mobile is getting ready to head to that dominant leadership in the wireless industry. And it's not because of network. It's because of everything combined. It's because of the brand. It's because of the proper planning and executing it. And the execution is working. So do I think that T-Mobile needs to update us on another analyst day next year? Yes. So I know we just got an update to the current 5-year plan, the way it's been guided at the 2021 analyst day. But I think that guidance is going to get bumped in 2023. I think they know that they can do more on fixed wireless access versus the 7 to 8 million. I think there is potential for them to guide a higher share, being a higher share taker in the rural environment beyond the 20%. Same with enterprise. And I think the numbers greatly show that. So I fully expect T-Mobile to have lined up another analyst day in early 2023, maybe March, April timeframe. And I think it's needed because there are a lot of questions out there as to how T-Mobile is really obtaining all of this. I know they guided and they told us certain things at the analyst day in 2021, but now it's beginning to look like, okay, you gave us this, but hey, your quarterlies are getting better and better and better. And then, we're hearing rumors of them potentially getting into fiber to the home and all these other business partnerships are coming left and right. So now an update, I think, is warranted, very much so. So my take on the situation where T-Mobile is headed, right? They want to do 20% share in the rural environment by 2025. So in this article, you will see right here at the bottom, or right here at the top, T-Mobile is eyeing 40% of the U.S. that is considered rural. So T-Mobile has that broken down in a form of 775 submarkets, as we've discussed in a lot of different videos. And T-Mobile says that right now they can already compete in 50% of those 775 markets with competing retail distribution and network. That is big. That is something that I feel is going to blindside Verizon in a way that they've never been blindsided before because they've been so dominant in these parts. So now Verizon is dealing with a very struggling consumer business that they really have they don't have an answer for us as to how they're going to fix it and how they're going to grow and get back into the green. But yet T-Mobile is starting to chip away on that same consumer business in these smaller rural markets. And while still maintaining its opinion and position that they are not defending its share in the top 100 markets, they are extending the lead. So just keep that in mind. Mike Sievert is not sitting there telling the analysts and telling the market that, hey, we're having to defend our position in the top 100 markets because there's so much competition. No, he is saying, against the other two MNO competitors, he is going to extend his lead in the top 100 markets and continue growing. While I'm going to, Mike Sievert, into the rural parts where you've dominated for years, decades, and I'm going to take share there too. Very meaningful share. It's not that they're going, oh, I'm going to take 2% share. No. They are going from the low teens to the 20%. The next step is the 33%, which is going to gain them fair share in the rural environment. By that time, they are likely going to have, of course, even more geographical retail distribution and networking too, right? They're natively expanding into Nebraska, where they've never had any native coverage. So that means the retail distribution is going to come to Nebraska as well at some point. And I think that that's going to actually happen very quickly. I predict within the first 6 months of 2023, we're going to start seeing posts from John Fryer of new stores opening, new retail locations opening in the state of Nebraska. That's how quickly that turnaround is going to happen. And T-Mobile is executing this plan very effectively. It's not something, and I said this in a previous video, it's not something that we have to make a video on and discuss, hey, how is T-Mobile going to turn this around? There's literally no pushback in terms of competitive pressure from any of the MNOs. I mean, T-Mobile is taking from all of them. And Verizon is feeling that pressure. Hans is starting to use the T-Mobile term a lot because he can feel it. Verizon is simply priced too high. Whether that's in reality or by perception. Customers feel that Verizon is priced too high. Now you may say, hey, look, for me, the premium price is fine as long as I have that coverage. Others might be like, hey, look, T-Mobile just moved in. They're cheaper. They have a competitive, compelling product. I'm going to try them, and it works. And I mostly think that that's what T-Mobile really feeds off of. T-Mobile's not feeding off having the most premium network. T-Mobile feeds off of having a compelling, competitive product. And when I say product, I'm talking customer service, retail, and the network. Right? You have to have all of them in line in order to sell and keep your customers well. We've heard recently Verizon has horrible customer service. And I've experienced that like a year or so ago when I was last with them. It was horrible. And it still is. And that's something, if they want to grow and accelerate growth for the consumer side, they're going to have to fix their own customer service. And I truly believe that, I know there's still some bad apples within T-Mobile. I know that. But I think they have that down. They have the customer service part down. I truly believe that. There's going to be some tweaks and some changes that John Fryer is going to have to make. I think there is talks of bringing more reps, customer service reps, stateside in terms of calling the call centers. So that's going to happen, but that's going to take a little time. But that's my thought process behind this. I'm not saying that T-Mobile is going to dominate because of network, that they're going to have the best network. You guys know, who have been following the channel, you know my position on that. I still maintain Verizon is going to have the leading product in wireless in the United States because they've invested so much already, right? And I'm not talking about just this year, last year, and the year before. I'm talking about all these decades that they've been investing. They were the first to LTE in the early, or in the late 2000s, right? 2007, 2008. They started that journey with low band way before anyone else. Then everyone else started shifting. Oh, we need to deploy LTE. So then Verizon started going on a densification spree. Now everyone's like, hey, we might need to densify. That was, the middle of LTE. Now everybody's densifying. AT&T is deploying C-RAN. AT&T is deploying sites. T-Mobile is incorporating a ton of Sprint Keep sites. Let's not discard that fact. They're densifying too. So That's been Verizon's main leadership position, and I just don't see a way that they're going to let that go. They're going to invest the necessary amount to really significantly have a leadership gap when it comes to the network. But I think Verizon, right now as it stands, even the stuff that I've been hearing that's coming in Q1, even the stuff that Hans has been recently saying, oh, I'm going to take over the Verizon consumer group. I'm going to make sure we do this, that, and that. I just think it's all blabber. I don't think it's anything meaningful. I've even been reviewing and looking at some of the changes that they are potentially going to make in the first quarter. And I just don't see it doing anything for Verizon. They're going to have to fundamentally change that company. And I still maintain my position on that too. It's going to have to start with a price decrease. With a price decrease, they're going to start changing the perception of the consumer. Like, hey, Verizon's cheaper now. Oh man, let's check them out. That's what I think they need to start doing. And the welcome plan, I just don't see that as being the leading factor. I think they need to implement a price drop across the board, even their higher end plans. And I think they need to get to the market that way. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I think T-Mobile is on their way to dominance, but not because of network, because of the overall brand and everything else that T-Mobile does and stands for. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel, like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.